93% of communication is nonverbal. And yet most negotiators spend 100% of their preparation time focused on what they are going to say. That single mistake costs people millions of dollars, broken deals, and lost opportunities every single year. Chris Voss, a former FBI hostage negotiator, discovered something in the most extreme negotiations imaginable, situations where failure meant someone died, that completely rewired how the world thinks about getting what you want. In the next 10 minutes, you are going to discover why everything you learned about negotiation in a business school textbook is not just wrong, it is actively working against you. We will cover the real psychology behind how humans make decisions under pressure, the counterintuitive tactics that Voss used to resolve kidnappings and bank robberies, and the one technique so simple it sounds almost childish, yet it works on everyone from terrorists to your landlord. Stay with us, because the most surprising insight comes right at the end, and it will completely change how you approach every single conversation you have. Let us start with the background. Chris Voss spent 24 years with the FBI, eventually leading their international kidnapping negotiations. He worked cases across the globe, from the Philippines to Haiti to Iraq. And during that time, he noticed something that troubled him deeply. The standard model of negotiation taught in universities and boardrooms was built on one giant assumption, that human beings are rational actors. The Harvard Negotiation Project, which gave us the landmark book Getting to Yes, told us to separate the people from the problem, focus on interests not positions, and create win-win outcomes through logic and compromise. Beautiful in theory. But Voss watched rational arguments fail in the field over and over again. Why? Because humans are not rational. We are emotional creatures who then rationalize our decisions after the fact. Voss knew that to get results, you had to understand the emotional brain first, not the logical one. That insight became the foundation of everything and never split the difference. Now let us get into the core content. The first and arguably most powerful concept in the book is tactical empathy. And before you roll your eyes at the word empathy in a negotiation context, understand what Voss actually means. He is not talking about being nice. He is not talking about agreeing with the other person. Tactical empathy is the deliberate act of identifying and acknowledging the emotions of the other side so that they feel genuinely heard. And when people feel heard, their defenses drop. Research from Harvard Medical School confirms that feeling understood activates the same reward centers in the brain as receiving money. When you make someone feel heard, you are literally rewiring their emotional state in real time. The tool that delivers tactical empathy most effectively is something Voss calls mirroring. It is almost embarrassingly simple. You repeat the last 2 to 3 words the other person just said, with a slight upward inflection, as if you are curious. That is it. In one study conducted at a major American university, waiters who mirrored their customers' orders instead of simply saying "great choice" received tips that were on average 70% higher. 70%. Just from repeating words back. Mirroring works because it signals deep attention and triggers the other person to keep talking. And the more they talk, the more information you collect, and the more they feel understood. But here is what nobody talks about. Voss argues that the single most dangerous word in any negotiation is yes. Not no. Yes. When someone says yes too quickly, they might mean maybe, they might be trying to escape the conversation, or they might be placating you entirely. Voss calls these counterfeit yes. The word he actually trains negotiators to listen for and to pursue is "that's right." Not "you're right," which can be dismissive. That's right is the moment when the other person feels so completely understood that they are validating your entire read of the situation. That is when real movement begins. Now we move into the technique that sounds the strangest but works the fastest. Voss calls it labeling. You identify an emotion you sense in the other person and name it out loud. You say something like, "It seems like you are frustrated with how this has been handled," or "It sounds like this situation has put you in a really difficult position." Labeling does something extraordinary, it diffuses negative emotions almost instantly. Neuroscience research from UCLA shows that naming an emotion reduces the activity of the amygdala, the brain's threat detection center. When you label what someone is feeling, their nervous system literally calms down. They go from reactive to rational. And now you can actually have a productive conversation. There is another concept Voss introduces that executives consistently rank as the most valuable in the entire book. It is called the calibrated question. These are open-ended questions that begin with how or what, never why. because why sounds accusatory and puts people on the defensive. A calibrated question forces your counterpart to engage their analytical mind, to problem solve with you, and most importantly, to feel like they have some control over the outcome. Questions like, how am I supposed to do that? Or what does success look like to you here? Or how do we solve this? These are not passive questions. They are strategic tools that redirect the conversation and extract information while keeping the other party engaged and invested. And this connects to one of Voss's deepest insights about human motivation. People do not just want a good deal. They want to feel like they won. They want autonomy. They want their perspective to be respected. The negotiator who understands this will always outperform the one who simply has the better argument. This is why Voss flatly rejects the idea of splitting the difference, which is where the book's title comes from. If you want to sell something for $1,000 and the other party wants to pay $600, meeting in the middle at $800 is not a neutral outcome. It is a lazy one. Both sides feel like they lost something. True negotiation means shaping the conversation so that the other side arrives at your number and feels good about it. Let us go deeper. Voss introduces what he calls the Ackerman model for making and receiving offers. It is a structured bargaining system where you set your target price, then make offers at 65, then 85, then 95, then 100% of your target, using decreasing increments to signal that you are reaching your absolute limit. The shrinking concessions psychologically communicate to the other side that you are running out of room. Combined with a non-round final offer, say $937 instead of $900, the tactic creates the impression of precision and authenticity. People trust specific numbers more than round ones because round numbers feel arbitrary. Now for the real-world analysis. These tactics were developed in life or death situations, which means they are stress-tested beyond anything a corporate seminar could produce. But they translate remarkably well to everyday life. Salary negotiations, lease agreements, contractor pricing, even difficult conversations with family members, the principles apply anywhere two people have competing interests. The data backs this up. A study published in the Journal of Applied Psychology found that negotiators trained in active listening and emotional labeling secured outcomes that were on average 18% better than untrained counterparts. 18%. On a $100,000 salary negotiation, that is $18,000 left on the table simply because someone did not know how to listen. The deeper lesson of never split the difference is this: negotiation is not about manipulation. It is not about winning at someone else's expense. It is about understanding human psychology deeply enough to create conversations where both parties feel respected, heard, and fairly treated, and where the outcome actually reflects your true goals rather than a watered-down compromise that satisfies no one. Voss said it best himself: the beauty of empathy is that it doesn't demand that you agree with the other person's ideas. You do not have to like their position. You just have to understand it well enough to acknowledge it. Before you go, if you learned something valuable today, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to Book Notes Daily for a brand new video every single day. We will see you in the next one.